So imagine walking into the world's largest library, right? You go up to the front desk and you ask for a very specific, maybe slightly obscure book.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
Let's say you want a comprehensive history of a comedy musician's discography.
Like Weird Al or something.
Yeah, exactly. Let's say Weird Al. And instead of the librarian just saying, sorry, we don't have that, they hand you a set of binding glue, a stack of blank paper, and a diagnostic manual.
Oh, wow.
And they essentially just tell you to write the book yourself. But, and here's the catch, you can only start writing if you pass this secret invisible background check first.
Which completely flips the dynamic of how we usually interact with information online. I mean, we are so used to the internet being this seamless vending machine.
Right, exactly.
You press a button, the coil turns, and your snack just drops down.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't, we usually just walk away.
Yeah, you hit that page not found screen, that digital dead end, and your immediate instinct is just to close the tab.
Yep, just move on to the next search.
But we are actually not going to do that today. Welcome to today's deep dive. Our mission today is highly unusual because our source material is just a single web page.
Just one page.
Just one. And ironically, it is a page that technically does not even exist.
Which is such a brilliant contradiction to start with, really. I mean, we are literally analyzing the architecture of a void.
Right. So specifically, we have the Wikipedia search result and the error page for Weird Al Yankovic's greatest hits.
And just to be perfectly clear right out of the gate for everyone listening, the goal of this deep dive isn't to actually talk about Weird Al.
No, definitely not.
Or his music. We aren't analyzing accordion solos today.
Though that would be a fun deep dive. But no, we are using this specific missing page as a sort of magnifying glass.
Exactly. We're going to analyze this digital blank space to try and understand the hidden mechanics, the really strict rules, and the sheer architectural scale of the world's largest crowdsourced encyclopedia.
Because you, listening right now, have absolutely hit a Wikipedia does not have an article with this exact name page before. I mean, it happens to all of us.
Oh, constantly.
But you've probably never actually stopped to read the fine print on that screen. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Do it.
Because right off the bat, Wikipedia gives you this big, bold message stating the article just isn't there. But instead of leaving you hanging, it immediately pivots into this massive diagnostic toolkit.
It's giving you the exact reasons why you might be staring at a blank page.
Yeah. What's fascinating here is that the platform exposes its own back-end infrastructure directly to the everyday reader. I mean, most tech companies completely hide their errors.
Right, if Twitter breaks, you get a cute graphic of a fail whale or something.
Exactly. Or if a website is down, you get, like, a funny cartoon dog holding an unplugged cord.
But Wikipedia doesn't do that at all. They treat you, the casual reader, as a potential system administrator.
Yes. And the first bullet point they offer really caught my eye, because it suggests that the page might have actually been created recently, but it's just not visible yet because of a, quote, delay in updating the database.
Ah, yeah, the database delay.
It literally tells you to wait a few minutes or try something called the purge function. Now, I have to be honest here. Try the purge function sounds highly technical.
It does sound a bit intense.
It sounds like a command you yell in a sci-fi movie to vent the work core or something. Why are they telling a regular person looking up a comedy album to purge the system?
I mean, it does sound intimidating, but it is actually this beautiful peek behind the curtain of how the modern internet works.
Okay, how so?
Well, it shatters the illusion that Wikipedia is just this magic instant ether. It reminds you that it is a physical database residing on massive servers globally. And to survive the billions of hits it gets every single day, Wikipedia relies heavily on caching.
Caching. Okay, break that down for us in this context.
Sure. So think of a massive restaurant kitchen during the dinner rush. If 1,000 people are all ordering the exact same soup, the chef isn't going to cook 1,000 individual tiny pots of soup from scratch every single time an order comes in.
Right, that would be totally inefficient.
Exactly. They make a massive batch, keep it warm, and just ladle it out instantly. That is a cache.
Oh, I see.
The server takes a snapshot of a highly trafficked page and just hands out that saved copy because it's computationally cheap and incredibly fast.
Okay, so the system is essentially saying, we might actually have the soup, but the waiter is holding an outdated menu.
That's a great way to put it, yes.
And so what exactly is the purge function doing then?
To take your library analogy from earlier a step further.
Oh, please do.
The purge function is like forcing the librarian to get out of their chair, walk all the way down to the basement archives and physically check the actual shelf.
Just to see if the book was dropped off like 5 minutes ago.
Exactly. Rather than just glancing at the outdated card catalog on their desk, it is a manual override.
Yeah.
It forces the server to completely bypass the save snapshot and build a fresh version of the page from the raw underlying database. They are literally giving you the button to kick the vending machine.
That is incredible. They just hand you the keys to kick the machine, and then right below that, it gets even more granular.
It really does.
The next diagnostic step warns you that titles on Wikipedia are case-sensitive, except for the first character. So it prompts you to check your capitalizations.
The case sensitivity warning, right?
Like, if I capitalized weird, but accidentally left greatest with a lowercase g, the system treats that as a complete failure. It just breaks.
Which perfectly illustrates the friction between human language and machine logic.
What do you mean by that?
Well, as humans, we read semantics, right?
Yeah.
We look at a lowercase g and a capital G, and our brains automatically group them as the exact same underlying concept.
Right, it's just a G. It means the same thing.
But to a computer database, at its most fundamental level, those are completely different entities.
Because it's just reading the raw code behind the letter.
Exactly. In the AXI standard, which is the numerical code computers use to represent text, a capital G is the number 71.
Okay.
A lowercase g is the number 103.
Wait, really? They're that far apart?
Yep. So to a database searching for a string of text, asking for 71 when the file's named 103 is just as wrong as asking for the number 900.
Wow. So by warning you about case sensitivity, Wikipedia is basically teaching the user how strict a database query actually is.
Yes. The system is forgiving enough on the very first letter of an article, mostly just to be helpful, but after that, you have to speak the machine's exact dialect.
It's so painfully literal. But then we get to the third reason the page might be missing, which is honestly my absolute favorite part of this whole page.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
It says, if the page has been deleted, check the deletion log and see why was the page I created deleted.
Ah, yes. The infamous deletion log.
They actually link you to a guide explaining why they might have actively destroyed the very thing you're looking for.
It's quite blunt.
It's like the librarian saying, yeah, we had that book, but the library committee decided it wasn't worthy, so we shredded it. They give you the literal autopsy report of your search query.
And again, it's about this radical transparency. You came looking for a musician's compilation album, and you leave with a basic understanding of server caching, ASCII case sensitivity, and administrative deletion policies.
It's wild. So let's say we've run the diagnostics, we've purged the cache, we've triple-checked our capital letters, and we check the deletion log.
The machine is working fine.
Right, the machine is fine, the information just truly isn't there. The natural thought is, well, I'll just make the page myself.
Because that's the whole premise of the site.
Exactly. But when you actually read the instructions on how to do that, it is not what you expect at all.
Right. The transition from passive reader to active creator is a big leap.
It is, and I have to push back here on something.
Yeah.
Because the entire cultural brand of Wikipedia, their actual slogan is the free encyclopedia that anyone can edit.
Right. Anyone can edit.
But this error page proves that is a bit of a myth. To create a new article for Weird Al Yankovic's Greatest Hits, the text clearly states you cannot just start typing. First, you have to log in.
Which makes sense.
Sure. But then, and this is the word that really stopped me in my tracks, you must be auto-confirmed.
Auto-confirmed is a highly specific, very bureaucratic term.
It sounds like a digital caste system. I mean, doesn't this auto-confirmation barrier completely contradict their core mission statement?
It does feel like a bit of a contradiction, yes.
It feels like a bait and switch. You can't just show up and contribute to human knowledge. You have to pass this invisible probationary period to achieve this special status.
Well, this raises an important question about how open platforms survive at scale. The balance between, utopian open source ideation and strict, ruthless quality control is basically the central tension of Wikipedia's entire existence.
Okay, so it wasn't always like this.
No. In the early days, it was much more of a free-for-all. But if you allow anonymous, brand-new users to mint new pages instantly today, the site would be crushed within hours.
Crushed by what? Like traffic?
By spam bots, vandalism, corporate marketing teams trying to make pages for their new brand of sneakers, political operatives trying to spin narratives.
Oh, right. Humans ruin everything?
Pretty much. The auto-confirmed requirement, which generally means an account has to be at least 4 days old and have made a minimum of 10 edits to existing pages, is a vital self-defense mechanism.
So it's essentially a test of human latency.
Exactly. You have to prove you can exist in the ecosystem responsibly over a period of time before you are handed the keys to the heavy machinery of creating brand new topics.
Okay, that makes sense. It's proof of good faith.
Yes.
But looking closer at this page, if you scroll past that initial rejection, there's this weird backdoor option. The text says, alternatively, you can use the article wizard to submit a draft for review or request a new article.
The article wizard.
What exactly is an article wizard? It sounds like a character in a video game.
The article wizard is essentially a digital chaperone. It's a guided process for users who haven't earned their stripes yet.
So it's like getting a learner's permit for knowledge creation.
That's a perfect way to describe it.
You can't publish directly to the live site. You have to submit a draft, and then someone else, someone higher up in that hierarchy, has to review it and approve it.
Right, the auto-confirmed users.
Exactly. Or if you don't even want to write it, you can just put your hand up and submit a request for someone else to do the heavy lifting. It is a highly structured, tiered bureaucracy.
It really is. And notice the other suggestions they give you before you even try to create the page.
What do you mean?
Well, they explicitly tell you to search for Weird Al Yankovic's greatest hits in existing articles and to look for pages within Wikipedia that link to this title.
Like they're saying, are you absolutely sure you need to make this? Did you look everywhere else first?
Exactly. It is a strict anti-redundancy measure. The system desperately wants to ensure that knowledge is consolidated, not fragmented.
Because fragments are harder to manage.
Right. Every new page is a new node in the database that has to be maintained, monitored for vandalism, and updated.
That makes a lot of sense.
If Weird Al's greatest hits are already discussed thoroughly in a subsection of his main biography page, the platform would much rather you just create a redirect to that existing section than create a messy duplicate stub of an article.
Oh, so if I search the album, it just seamlessly jumps me to his main page.
Exactly. They're actively trying to keep the database clean, lean, and interconnected.
Okay, so we've looked at the mechanical void, the server lag, and the case sensitivity stuff.
Right.
And we've explored the bureaucratic hurdles, the learner's permit of the article wizard, and the auto-confirmed gatekeeping.
Yep.
But now I want to look at the actual visual real estate of this page. Because the center of the page is just a blank void regarding this specific album. But the margins of the page,
Margins are busy.
they're absolutely packed.
The periphery of the error.
Exactly. The source material outlines all these menus and sidebars that frame this empty space. First off, there's this whole section called In Other Projects.
Okay.
And it says, look for Weird Al Yankovic's greatest hits on one of Wikipedia's sister projects. And then it drops a massive list.
What's on the list? Remind me.
Listen to this scale. Wiktionary, Wikibooks, Wikiquote, Wikisource, Wikiversity, Commons, Wikivoyage, Wikinews, Wikidata, and my absolute personal favorite, Wikispecies.
Wikispecies. It is an entire parallel universe of information.
My analogy for this is, well, imagine you walk into a room looking for a specific painting and the room is completely empty.
Right.
But then you look around and you realize the empty room is just the lobby of a massive 10-wing university campus.
I love that.
And the signs on the doors are pointing to the travel agency wing, the newsroom wing, and the biological classification wing. Why do all of these separate projects even exist? Why isn't it just one giant Wikipedia?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, this list actually reveals a really profound insight into how humans categorize knowledge.
Okay, lay it on me.
Epistemologically speaking, different types of data require fundamentally different architectures.
How so? Give me an example.
Think about the boundary between a dictionary and an encyclopedia.
Okay.
An encyclopedia, like Wikipedia, is designed to explain the history, context, and significance of a concept, like the concept of an apple.
Right, where apples come from, Johnny Appleseed, all that.
Exactly. But a dictionary, like Wiktionary, is designed to explain the etymology, the pronunciation, and the part of speech of the word apple.
Oh, I see.
Those require totally different database fields.
Right, and Wikispecies.
A database for biological taxonomy requires strict hierarchical fields for genus, family, kingdom, and phylum. You can't just write a free-form paragraph.
Oh, wow, yeah. That's a totally different structure.
And a travel guide like Wikivoyage needs fields for interactive maps, hotel coordinates, and currency exchange info. If you tried to cram biological taxonomy, dictionary pronunciations, and hotel reviews into one single software architecture, the code would literally collapse under its own weight.
It would be a nightmare to search.
A complete mess. By presenting all these sister projects on an error page, the platform is reminding you of its sheer scale. It's basically saying, we might not have what you want here, but look at the entirety of human knowledge we are attempting to organize.
It's a flex. It's a total flex. And the customization options are just as expansive.
Right, the appearance settings.
The source outlines these incredible appearance toggles right there on the sidebar. You can adjust the text size to small, standard, or large. You can adjust the width of the page to standard or wide.
Which is kind of hilarious, by the way.
It is, because it explicitly notes the content is as wide as possible for your browser window when there is essentially absolutely no content on the page to widen.
It is delightfully ironic. The frame stretches perfectly to accommodate the missing picture.
But the absolute best detail, the thing that I genuinely laughed at when reading the source, is a toggle in the appearance menu called birthday mode.
Okay.
And in parentheses, it specifies baby globe. You can have it disabled or enabled.
The baby globe.
I mean, we've just spent the last 10 minutes talking about strict bureaucratic deletion logs, database server purging, and auto-confirmed status.
Very serious stuff.
Exactly. And right next to all of that rigid governance is a whimsical toggle for a baby globe birthday mode. It's so unexpectedly human.
It really highlights the open source, community-driven nature of the code itself.
Right. Someone had to program that.
Our volunteer developers build these little Easter eggs or quality-of-life features into the user interface. It shows a platform that is actively trying to optimize your reading environment and personalize your experience, even when there's absolutely nothing for you to read.
They just want you to be comfortable in the void.
Exactly. They care deeply about the experience of the interface.
But then you scroll down to the very bottom, down to the tiny text in the footer of the page, and the whimsical baby globe vibe vanishes completely. We are right back to serious institutional grounding.
The fine print at the bottom of the internet.
Yep.
What is the source list down there?
It's a heavy list. Let me read it. Privacy policy, disclaimers, contact Wikipedia, legal and safety contacts, code of conduct, developers, statistics, cookie statement.
What stands out to you about that specific grouping of links?
For me, honestly, it's seeing the phrase code of conduct sitting right next to legal and safety contacts.
Yeah, that's a big shift in tone.
It is a stark reminder that this isn't just a fun little passion project being run out of someone's garage anymore. It's a massive legal entity.
It absolutely is.
Has to worry about international privacy laws, cookie tracking regulations in Europe, and maintaining a safe working environment for thousands of volunteer editors working across the globe.
That is the crux of it right there. Those footer links anchor what seems like a wild west of crowdsourced information into a rigid, real-world, legal and statistical framework.
Right. It grounds it.
The code of conduct is essentially the HR department for those auto-confirmed users we talked about earlier. Without a code of conduct, that collaboration breaks down into toxicity.
Of course. Put thousands of people in a room to argue over facts, you need rules.
Exactly. And the statistics link implies a constant algorithmic monitoring of the database's health, the server load, and the overall growth. This totally empty error page is actually being supported by a massive, invisible scaffolding of rules, metrics, and lawyers.
So what does this all mean? We started out today looking at a digital dead end, an error page for a compilation comedy album that literally tells you it has zero content.
Zero content on the subject you wanted anyway.
Right. But by taking the time to read the fine print, to not just close the tab, we've essentially uncovered a comprehensive blueprint of the internet's most important website.
We found the structural foundation.
Exactly. It reveals the mechanical realities, the fact that a database has to cache to survive, and that it cares deeply about the mathematical difference between a capital and a lowercase letter.
The ASCII codes.
Yep. And it reveals the human gatekeeping, the reality that you have to prove your worth as an auto-confirmed user to create, or you have to subject yourself to the bureaucracy of an article wizard.
The learner's permit.
And it reveals the staggering ecosystem, from the biological directories of wiki species to the legal disclaimers holding the whole thing together. You, as a listener, should care about this because these invisible rules dictate the information you consume every single day.
They shape your reality.
Exactly. The shape of the container dictates the shape of the knowledge we receive.
That is exactly right. The architecture of the platform dictates what survives, what gets merged, and what gets destroyed.
And actually, that leads me to a final thought for you to mull over.
Oh, go for it. Next time you search for something online, a person, an event, a piece of art, and you hit that wall and you find absolute silence, I want you to think about Wikipedia's deletion log.
Ooh, okay.
We implicitly trust these platforms to be the ultimate objective repositories of human history. But what invisible histories, what controversial ideas or forgotten cultural artifacts are actively being erased, rejected, or deemed not notable enough right now by the auto-confirmed gatekeepers of our digital age?
Wow.
When you go to that digital vending machine and nothing comes out, it isn't always because the snack was never made. Sometimes the void isn't really empty. Sometimes it is a highly curated silence.
A curated silence. Wow. I will say this, next time I hit a page not found, I'm definitely not just closing the tab.
You'll be checking the return chute in the basement.
I'll be checking the return chute, and I will definitely be keeping a close eye out for the library committee.